I'm just waiting for a few seconds. 51, 52 seconds have gone. Signals are gone. I think it shall close. Certainly, if no signals appear, nobody can help it. Certainly, I have to 0, 0 and 0, 0. Signals. Some signals have come, but FPS is 2. I can't say, shall I be able to continue? Let me see. मैं सूरज सिंह सिविल इंजीनियर भारत इंडिया से बोल रहा हूँ. टुडे इज़ January 4th 2022 and Tuesday. Civil field engineering, I have done quality first now. Quality, concrete specifications. Again, signals are 0, 0. It's not helping. It's not at all helping. Civil field engineering, life engineers, and we can say contracts, quality structures, and of course designs, construction, methods, contracts, disputes, organizations, communication, coordination, and ultimately quality of materials. Name board and civil engineer department or civil engineer discipline I belong to. Civil engineering profession, though it is multidisciplinary profession, but generally I am qualified from civil engineering division. I am attached to civil engineering division of Institution of Engineers, because fundamentally say this means who deals with basics of its own engineering field as well as overlapping fields. And my email ID is suraj_engineer@yahoo.co.uk, and if you wish, you are most welcome to write to me using this email ID to raise certain questions about engineering, about contracts, and my certification as current international professional engineer, registered in Indian register, enrolled on Indian register, and this is chartered fellow of Institution of Engineers India, Bharat Engineer Sansthan, Royal Chartered, and here is file of quality. That is, I am doing deliberation on quality in Bharat, India, particularly, and of course general quality, and this is, you can say, kind of redefinition or reconsideration in engineering. Quality, SHE, both are interconnected, and I say quality is connected everywhere. It is connected everywhere in every activity. It is connected in every field, every discipline, even in your personal life, social life, national life. Quality is somewhere related, but we do not take it seriously. Doesn't matter as far as it works. Quality in Bharat, India. Before that, I close this study. This is now quality I am talking about, which is, we can say, quality. My very basic question about quality is, where does quality exist? Where does quality exist? This is a very simple question, and maybe someone asks me what this question is, why do you raise this question? Certainly everybody has a right to ask it, and I do not mind it. Why I do not mind it? It's not because there's something secret in this. Secrecy doesn't exist. What exists is lack of quality or absence of degree of quality. Quality is something that doesn't require any definition because everybody understands it. Maybe people don't understand term itself, but implication, its meaning, what it can give one, that is important. Quality is considered something, by people. Some people consider it necessary, while some other people considers it as okay, leave it, we will see. Now my consideration is different. I take it as yard, or you can say meter stick. Meter stick means I want to measure every item, every good, every product in terms of quality. Quality is a measurement of everything. It's a process to evaluate what you have done or what has been done. First form or third form doesn't matter. Where does quality exist? It's a different question, but a real question. When we ask such question, this means it is a question which can say it exclaims something. It should be everywhere. Quality should be present everywhere. But when I say where does quality exist, this means I am not able to find quality survival or quality working or quality performing or quality accessible or quality defeat. What you say? I say quality defeat because we have defeated quality, we are defeating quality, and shall we be defeating quality? I say I don't want to use this third sentence, shall we be defeating quality, because we want to work qualitatively. And when I say we want to work qualitatively, this means quantity also moves with quality. Quality and quantity both are same and parallel and merge with each other. When we say this is my quantity I have produced, this means quality must move together. And if it doesn't move together, quantity goes ahead and quality remains behind. We can say quality lags behind. Quality lags behind. Rather, we should say quantity lags behind. When you have better quality than expected, one may accept, okay, there is some delay on quantity, or quantity is short of its requirement, maybe by 5%, 10%. That is different. That is a plus statement, but it should be same as quantity. Because whatever work you do or whatever product you produce, it is quality oriented. It should be quality oriented. If I say it is quality oriented, then I should not raise this question, because quality is already existing and it exists. But my question is, where does quality exist? This means I do not know address or location or coordinate of quality. Maybe it is philosophical consideration, but in real life this is fact. My question is, what about major material concrete in structures? Then another question is, what about major materials that are permanently included in structures and buildings? What about engineering materials being used to produce various hundreds parts productions and constructions be delivered with quality compliance? What is reason that quality requirement is being ignored by nation? What reason does exist that engineers are not able to conduct required role towards quality domain? These are very few questions. There can be long queue of questions or row questions, but I just want to take very initial questions in this regard. What about major materials, concrete and structures? What is this? What about major materials, concrete in structures? Material and concrete and major. It is very fundamental question, but very quantum of it is involved. And excessive quantum is involved. Our life, we say it is concrete, or our work is concrete, or our propositions are concrete. We say sometimes like that: concrete proposal, concrete solution. Their material is not concrete. There it is power of solution. It is standard of solution. It is consideration of solution, and we say this is concrete work. There is no concrete in that, but concrete work. This means our work is very strong, very powerful. Our solution is very much dependable, reliable. That's what it means. So concrete, and when I say material concrete, this is not same terminology as I used in last sentence. Material concrete, we are talking of concrete material. And you know what is concrete? Engineers know it, professionals know it. I mean to say engineering professional and general public also know it, concrete. Now concrete is I'm talking, it's a part of construction everywhere. There is no field in our lives where progress goes on, development goes on, and concrete may not be included in that work. It's impossible. Major expenses of material which we use, quantity of materials which we use, other than concrete, I think are lesser in quantity than concrete. You can consider whatever example, you shall find concrete is considerable material, voluminous material, expensive material, natural material. So many natural ingredients are involved to produce concrete. It may be starting with, say, cement or cementing material, which in itself contains limestone or silica. Of course, then stones, we can say aggregate, we call them rocks, and also we call sand or dust, stone dust, as well as water. These are normal ingredients we consider. But it's not joke. We have to achieve concrete material, which is sometimes we can say technically it's a kind of production of artificial stone, not natural one. But this artificial stone contains ingredients, natural ingredients. All ingredients which I named normally, I say cement or limestone, silica, stone chips or aggregate, coarse aggregate, sand or dust, water, all these are natural materials. Without natural materials presence or availability, we cannot do concrete work. What does it mean? What about major materials of concrete and structures? If we don't have concrete, currently, whatever structures we design and produce cannot be done. You can take whatever building, road, powerhouse, airport, whatever you want to consider, you shall find somewhere concrete is useful, and without its inclusion, no project can be done. It's very important material in our lives. Of course, not always, but for major part of life, and it remains with everyone for long. Which building you make, whichever building you live in, somewhere concrete is involved. Maybe you don't identify that, but you use that building, you use that railway, you can say you use that factory, you use that road, you use that element of that product which has been made of concrete. Then why don't we think, if it's such an important element in our life, should it not have any quality? You can see roads, for example, it's public one, everybody walks, everybody uses, you drive your vehicle, and when you sometimes walk and see, you will find certain bad surface. The road may be newly constructed, but it shall be bad surface. It shall be very rough sometimes, it may be broken, and maybe it doesn't pass successfully one rain season. And you may say, what sort of this is? Means no quality in that. Though this was part of workmanship, means it could not be done well. You'll find defects and defects and defects. Same you'll find in every building or every structure. Defect is one part, but what I'm talking is controls. I'm talking of controls. It's our money. It may be personal money or it may be funded money by taxes. It is our own. Material we use, those materials are natural. But we have to study those materials, and it is done. Study of this material is done. Without studies, no material can be designed. Design of materials, we can say, we have to do design of concrete. It may be cement concrete, and previously it may be lime concrete was, but let's say concrete. Design of concrete, work on concrete, and use of concrete. This is very important part of our life. Quality, when I'm talking of, it doesn't mean only controls. It means forever how does it perform. Because it's like, child, your baby, when you construct your house, you feel that you have achieved something. You celebrate, I got a house, with my savings I produced a house, or I purchased the house or apartment. We feel anxious, we feel happy, everybody, means I'm talking of normal class people, I'm not talking of very rich people, they don't care for that. But for a person like me who doesn't have much money, and if I own a house, I feel I got something in my life. I consider, or you may also consider, this is your destination, this is your permanence. Okay, I'll use this house, my family shall use this house forever. This means it is a kind of permanent destiny, or you may say it's your fortune. This means this building is fortune for you. Of course, it's because of your money. It may be loan money or it may be your own money. It's for you. Means you celebrate as if it's your kid. It's your support, right? Or you can say your residence is secured. Your residence is secured. This means this material building is your permanent friend, your permanent relation. You may leave this world, but this building shall remain there. Like your grandson, your son, your daughter, this shall be there. You can say you produce this building, then you are parent of this building. You are owner of this building. It's for you. This means this is a picture in your mind that this building has changed your life, has brought to a level where you can say, I am grown up, I have advanced, I am owner of this building, and you have a confidence in you, life is better than before. What an important material it is. I have seen people who throughout life had an ambition to have a building, even though small, so that they can say we are respectful and standardized people. We have not to move now from one place to other place to find a building on rent and live in that. We get rid of that, and that's very important in life, because you are confident and you can move in life ahead of that, your capacity. I am happy now. I have my building. I'm honored. I have my kids. They will use it. Once I die, they will be honored. Means it completely changes your attitude, your confidence level. And if you think that I spend money on this building, I paid this much to this promoter or builder or my own self, to my contractor, and got it, and it's not doing well. That is another point of view. And what I'm saying, both way, affirmatively you are happy, but practically you are not very happy because this building does not perform as you said. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking of quality. It's not quality of material alone. It's quality of everything. Every material, every way, every activity, how do you perform? And should we trust blindly in those contractors or promoters who do it for us? That's why I say, what about major materials that are permanently included in structures and buildings? That's the point. Permanent materials, when I say, in buildings generally, in RCC buildings filled with brick walls or with blocks and plasters, flooring, etc., most important material is concrete, because your building works because of concrete and not because of plaster or because of flooring or because of painting, not because of that. All those building works first exclusively on structure. If a structure of a building is reliable, all supporting, all materials or items that are supported on this structure shall work for you. And if a structure does not work properly, all these finishing items, or you can say supplementary items, shall not work as they should. That's only difference. Material in structure and structure itself should be sound and durable. When I say durable, it has some different meaning. Its journey of this building or this structure, how long shall it be? I cannot say today. We can only assess, we can only assume. It may work for 50 years, it may work for 100 years, depending on how it has been made and in which area it is, what's weather condition, and what forces are going to come on this. That's what I say, durability. But when I say 100 years or 50 years, it should work on same pattern as it started with. And that is where difference comes in. Because material continuous use can also change properties of material. It can loosen those properties, and that loss has certain limit. It can come to a point where we can say it has got some hysteresis, it has got some tired attitude, it has got some fatigue which cannot change. It is tired in common language, we can say. So what about major materials that permanently are involved or included in structures? That is concrete. Permanent material, concrete and reinforcement in that or steel in that. We cannot change them at our will, at our wish. There is permanent material also, but of lesser value, and that is infill walls. If you say this is framed structure, we say brick wall inside or concrete block wall inside, and plaster or rendering on that, then finishing on that, decoration on that, flooring on that. We say that. And also in foundations, we say backfill material, and that is soil. What sort of soil is there? That can be taken out or not taken out, can be replaced or cannot be replaced. These points count a lot. Maybe you people are not sure about these materials. Everybody likes to see attractive building. Nothing wrong with that. Your building should be attractive, aesthetically attractive, decoration wise attractive. It should be. But that is applicable only once your structure is powerful, is, you can say, potent structure. you can say other items of finishes. Nothing is available which you can say is ready-made. Even if you want to use precast elements that are also manufactured in factory. That's also manufactured in factory. You cannot say this is natural. It depends on quality. Of course, in factories, quality control can be conducted in a better way. Really, indeed, it's a better way in factory. On site, there may be little difference because factory work is controlled. One factory works in controlled conditions, while real site cannot work in that condition. So we have to see this point that major materials are permanently included in structures and buildings. I'm just trying to explain to you the state of our quality in concrete, because I have started with concrete, quality, and of course other quality. And I am saying, what about engineering materials being used to produce various hundreds parts or goods in manufacturing? When I say manufacturing and when I say hundreds parts, this is something you can say unclear, but it is clear. In our market, in our manufacturing, in our life, we use many parts. Sometimes we don't even think that it comes from engineering basis. Engineering basis exists everywhere. Whatever part you buy, whatever material you buy from market, somewhere engineering is involved. Even your plastic bags, it is plastic containers. You buy, for example, milk. Milk doesn't come from engineering, it comes from natural source, and that is animals, cow or buffalo. But when you get it packed one, you get plastic bag and some milk in that plastic bag also comes through engineering process. Ethylene you can say. This plastic bag is made of ethylene or biopolymers, but you don't think of that, though you have to throw it back after use. But it can be thrown away because it cannot be recycled, but it came through some process of engineering. This is very important point. It's very elementary, you do every day and throw it. Same way, other materials. Some materials you throw, some materials you use and throw. There is no material in life which doesn't come through engineering. You may say battery of your mobile, battery of your inverter, or you can say electrical parts, electrical switches, switch panels, electrical bulbs. You can say electronic goods, your computer, your desktop, your laptop. You can say whatever else materials you buy something in market. Manufactured goods. Somewhere and everywhere engineering is involved. When engineering is involved means engineering materials are involved. There are hundreds and hundreds of such materials. And you may buy them many every day. Someday, other day you buy it. And even if it is agricultural product, agriculture discipline, or you can say agricultural branch of engineering do exist. There also exist agriculture engineering, we call it, or agriculture industry you may call it. And when you call it industry, it means it is engineering, because industry and engineering have permanent relations, blood relations you may say, or relations that cannot be disconnected. That is very important point. We are surrounded, we are merged in engineering products. Engineering products rule our life. Tell me in your home what product you use. You use RO, you use oven, you can use your machine, washing machine, you use your television, mobile, you use your building, of course. There is no material which comes from non-engineering world. Your life is dominated by engineering, though we don't feel it. Even you go to medical, in medical instrumentation, all these testing machines, whatever we do, all come from engineering field. If engineering is not involved, you walk on the footpath, you do whatever you want, you wear clothes, textile engineering. This means we have to be a little wider in our thinking, we have to expand our vistas of thinking, that we have to deal with many hundred materials, many hundreds materials in our life. Every day, some we use for hours and some materials with building. Try to know that building is your permanent friend at your home as well as outside your home. It's your permanent friend. Zero signals again and again and again. Then I say there's hundreds of materials we are using. Then we can say that what is provision by government to force productions and constructions. Now it's different kind of track I am showing. What's of provision by government to force productions and constructions be delivered with quality compliance? What is reason that quality requirement is being ignored by nation, and what reason does access that engineers are not able to conduct required role towards quality domain? These are very few questions, but too significant. When our life is dominated by such materials, such engineering world, and we have government everywhere in world, then what is the responsibility of government, even though these manufactured materials come from private sector or from government sector, doesn't matter. Is it not responsibility of government to think of and to consider that whatever people get, that should be to certain level of quality, compliance? Is it not government duty? My statement doesn't mean criticism of someone. Our concern is resolved by government. Government cannot say we are not manufacturing. Yes, it is true, we are not manufacturing, but you are having rules to implement. A person on individual basis has no mechanism like me. I am a person, individual person, I got no mechanism. No mechanism to check something, because industry is rich, they have their own systems, they claim everything, they claim we are quality company, We are quality organization and we believe it. We believe it because we trust them, they are experts. Despite being expert, if product that we receive from them is delivered to us doesn't amount to that standard which we think it is or it is and we think that they would give, but when we find that it doesn't do that, what can we do as an individual? As what can we do as a group? Nothing, except that we can complain to them, this is happening in your material, and they will resolve it as if they have an obligation on us. But what is the responsibility of government? That's my point of view, because government means totality of public. To be very frank, government doesn't exist anywhere. It's people only. It's people only. It's power of people that is enjoyed by government ministers and what they do on that power. How they do use that power, it's responsibility of public to make sure. If I get some product through some private organization, it's my responsibility to make sure that product which I get is of course to mark. And if I don't have that, I have to make complaint. But who has time for all this? Government should have control, they should have certain law that work should be done according to quality requirement. Government is not going to fix that requirement, but government has to make sure that quality respect those manufacturers who check their own system themselves. They are their own examiners, but it is too rare, very, very rare that I have to check my own work or that manufacturer has to check its own work prior to public raises questions. It's wonderful, believe me, prior to public raises questions. And those people don't want any bad comments from people. That is called professionalism. When we say there is a company which never ever ignores its performance, that company is really called professional. These days everybody claims we are professionals, we are experts, but how many of them really can be qualified experts? It's a big question mark. Means we do not want to force anybody to do quality work. They themselves should sell their material because it's a question of self-recognition and self-valuation. If it is a big company, big organization, performing management or performing personal group, and quality does not come in to that requirement, in that case what shall you say? I don't accept word multinationals or international organization, international company. I don't care for your status, I care for your product. If I get international product or quality product, certainly I trust you. No way not to trust you. It may take time, but my experience would say you are trustworthy or you are not trustworthy. Because I pay to you for what you give to me. Along with, I experience that. And if I get your item, it gives me better work, better performance, or it commits to what you have specified on that. And certainly I would say this is a professional one. It may be product or it may be service, it's one and same. Both are interrelated. That's why I say if there is a government Government is also a service provider, to be very frank. Every government in the world is a service provider to its people. Government doesn't mean king, government doesn't mean royal. Even if they are royal, they are servant to people. Even if one is king, it is servant to people, because it's people who made you king. It's people who made you government. You have to govern. Govern what? Not people. You have to govern system. You have to govern system. You have to make system. You have to improve system. You have to take remedial actions of mistakes. And it is basic requirement of a government. If you are a prime minister or president or a minister, it doesn't mean you are king of that country or you have powers. Yes, you have powers to serve people, to help people to come out of problems. It's your responsibility to make sure that whatever work is done, whatever material is produced, it should conform to requirements of quality. People should not suffer because of your inactions. Why should people suffer if government sleeps? And I'm talking for this every government all over the world. What for they are paid? If I say what for I am paying to you for material, you have to return me my money in terms of good materials. That's what is required. But it's not happening. That's what I say. What is provision by government to force productions and constructions be delivered with quality compliance? This is not politician. This is not political statement. This is real statement I am making. What is provision by government to force productions and constructions be delivered with quality compliance? If government says this is my job, this is not my job, then I condemn that government. It is your job. Because you are working for me, of course you are working for that person also, who is a company. You are working for all people of this country. And every government works everywhere in the world for its people. Nothing wrong with that, nothing incorrect with that. You are also paid, my dear government. You draw your salaries, your expenses from my or from public created payments, public created funding. Indirectly, it's your duty to make sure that public does not suffer from whatever point of view of quality or quantity. You have to see requirements are fulfilled. Requirements, I say, this may be quantity requirements or quality requirements or some other requirements. You have to make sure people are happy, people are healthy, people are safe, people enjoy quality. You have to make sure all this. It's your duty. You cannot just skip your question or that. Forget politics. I'm not talking politics. I'm talking your service. Whatever party you are, I don't care. You have to provide service to people. It's not 50 years or 100 years back time. It's current time. People know what's their duty, what's their demand, and what's their work. What provisions have government made towards producing quality product? That's a question mark here. If this is a government company, even then government is responsible. If it's not a government company, it's ordinary private company, even then to make sure quality products are delivered, you cannot leave everything to company. If somebody complains, there should be action. Should be, because it's ultimately public. That company also exists because of public, otherwise that company can't exist. There, government does not worry. I think that is the right response. Government is not worried. How they are not worried? Why they are not worried? What's the question? Why there is no power with them? They cannot leave it to industrialists on their own. They cannot leave it to factories. They have to make sure people should not suffer. You cannot see, I see everyday prices are hiked. For example, you can say Airtel or some other service provider. You can see they raise prices every time, their own will. They don't even ask customers. And they think that customer is nothing. What shall customer do at most? Nothing. You can complain or disconnect, that's it. They say if you're not happy with us, you can disconnect your service. This means they are overloaded with business. They have redundant business with them, they cannot control it. And when you cannot control something smoothly, why do you think is why do you want to take that service? My point of view, okay, I'm a small customer. I pay you some few hundred rupees per month or whatever it is. You are charging that money and you think you're off, you have no responsibility. That's what's happening. There's no control from government. There's no control from public. There's no power of people. There's no power of government. And industry doesn't care. Doesn't care. And I think when industry doesn't care, who bothers about engineers? Tell me. Engineers are hired. They're employed. They are paid. And engineer is also a human being. If nobody listens to that engineer, what shall engineer do? And of course, if engineers are listened to, engineers are respected, if engineer suggests something, it's done, quality shall not go away. I don't think somebody saves something if you don't do quality work. No, not at all. Not at all. I am sure if there is some professional in governments who care about quality, who can understand about quality, that can be reliable scenario. And it's big job. It's not small job. You can say control of quality system. I am saying quality system. Because quality system is about quality control, quality compliance. Quality system, I am talking basically of that. We ourselves have spoiled ourselves. Is that not correct? Is that not correct? My question is, what is reason that quality requirement is being ignored by nation? I can say one reason I explained, it's government controls failure. Government is not intelligent, I think. This government or previous governments, they had been, not, they have not been acting, they have not been acting intelligently. You can't leave it to people. Again I say, a person who pays money for something, that person must get back that something. But situation is different. State of quality every day worsens. Every day. If you are lucky, if you get some good material, you're lucky. You would be lucky, fortunate, or I got this metal by chance. But you cannot streamline that to a flow of quality system. Quality system is for companies, is for organization and not for people. People system is justified. People system can be recognized only if product performs. If product doesn't perform to its requirements, what it was designed for, what it was intended for, until that time we cannot accept this quality system exists. Quality That is the point where difference lies in. What reason does exist that engineers are not able to conduct required role towards quality domain? Question is there. But I am sure no engineer who is not a businessman or business person would like to reject quality requirement. I can't find any engineer. I'll be not in a position to find such engineer who doesn't believe in quality requirement, because quality requirement is very basic activity, is very basic requirement of engineering professionals. Because engineering cannot exist, cannot survive if quality doesn't exist, if safety doesn't exist, if economy doesn't exist. Economy is related to materials, productions, service. Such a widest field covering all scopes. Engineering is. Really, it is. And we have to be very serious about this material, about this issue. It's very important issue. I cannot say why not we are so serious. We have to be very serious. People are disturbing for nothing. I don't understand reason behind this. They know I'm talking and they are disturbing. This is called naughty people, I can say. Naughty people. See, goes on and on and on for nothing. Well, I least bother about such people. So my question is, engineers, what reason does engineer, what reason does exist that engineers are not able to conduct required role towards quality domain? And that reason is that engineers do not work independently. Engineers do not work independently. They have to depend on someone else. That is only a reason. And even those engineers who are entrepreneurs themselves, once they become entrepreneur, they least bother about quality. Maybe there are very few engineers, despite being entrepreneurs, they care for quality, but generally it doesn't happen that those business people who but you shall like to think of quantity only. Rarely it happens, but if it happens, that's very good, that engineers care for. And if engineers care for this, I don't think there shall be requirement of manufacturers or those factory owners or industry. Take risk of its job. But whatever I say, I have no final answer how to solve this problem except that dedication, except that risks engineers can take, because after all, it is engineering community only. It is engineers only of all ranks, of designations that run show. Without engineering input, industries cannot run, factories cannot run, construction cannot run. This point is very easy to understand. It's common sense based point. It's not very specialization based point. Our people have to realize this fact. Engineering community, and when I interact with some people, I find that no interest exists in them to talk of quality. That is unfortunate. Engineering, which itself is a quality system, where nothing can move, even in education of engineering, without quality. I don't know why engineers forget it. I don't know. Engineers who are very responsible people for society development, for national development. But I'm not finding effect of that. I didn't find effect of that. Everybody is superficial. Everyone. Superficial in studies, superficial in teaching, superficial in works. And when you are superficial, this means you care for decoration, you care for cosmetic, you don't care for in-depth scrutiny. This is my understanding. I thought that we have good quality, but it's not only in our country state of quality is very bad. But also you can say many countries have that. There's no meaning in naming them because first we have to improve ourselves. We have to think. Government has to think. Corporate has to think. And on top of all these, engineers have to think. I have been behind these talks for 2 years, you can say more than that. But I am not encouraged by engineers itself, not encouraged. I try to share my little knowledge and experience with community, but community is not interested. I think it is only, first of all, we have redundancy of public. That factor comes in way, and of course that job is more important than engineering, though it is an engineering based job, but survival of everybody is important. I referred to concrete last time. This quality talk shall go on and on. It will not stop because quality will not stop. Quality cannot stop. And there is no one specific question or specific answer. We keep on checking and checking and checking every day, and that's where approach comes in. I talked of concrete specifications last time because concrete, I consider if it is quality one, if we have good concrete, we can change scenario to some extent. I'm not about to change that plastic bag of milk, but we have to check our system and we can change. It's a milk product, you take milk and go. It's not still engineering, it is construction engineering, it is certain engineering where nothing can be packed in. You cannot pack the building and say, take this building and go. You cannot pack slab or column, you can say, take it and go. It can't be done. This means we are permanently objected. Our objects are permanent. Our objects to produce the products are permanent. We cannot relocate them. We cannot relocate them. We can relocate ourselves only engineering world. Civil engineering world, projects cannot be relocated, but engineers and those workers work on those projects are always relocated, and that's where difference lies in. Every other engineering has some production. They are involved in production factories or industries where metals can be packed and sold. It was a big machine. But in engineering construction, civil engineering construction, it's always reverse. You have to go where you have to do production, and you have to come out of that once production is over. And that's where situation is reverse. And that's how we can say civil engineering is different world. Construction is different world. First of all, you can't change it. And secondly, it's very, very long distance travel. Cannot do anything instantly. Because here contribution of public in production of building or structure is immense. That's different. Civil engineer has to move from one place to other depending on state of project. Project shall not move from one place to other. Okay, engineer, sit down here, I am moving from here to there. It doesn't happen. That's why say, my patient is the structure. I am as a doctor, my patient is a structure. Do. It knows what workers have to deal with this. It knows what designers have to think of this. It also knows how it's going to be worked site, on location. It knows very well. It knows very well. Maybe we forget, but it doesn't forget. When I talk of engineering, I talk of engineering with its roots. Its roots first, and they have to understand roots of our own subjects. That's where it's important. Roots of our own subject. I talked of engineering, I said again, I was talking of something last time. I took some, you can say, some files for you people last time, and I think I was somewhere, I'm just going to that one. I was talking somewhere on concrete specifications, and just give me a minute, I'll file the file again. I couldn't open it before, and that is my facilities on store, and that is file number here. Here it is, you can say, it's concrete, and I think I was talking of concrete, and this is best practice of folder conditions. Like some pages are there, one of 10 pages. I think we have done this carbon cure. There is a pozzolanic concrete, let me see what it was. Pozzolanic concrete, one of 9 pages, and cold weather concrete I was talking of. And we talk of cold weather concrete, PCA, and also cold weather concrete PCA, and that is also, let's say, first of all, what it says, I open this file, and then I'll open this file also. Both files I open, and I think that's what I say. This is one file, and I think it's open maybe. So this is, let's say, here's concrete at your fingertips size. What is said before, this is concrete at your fingertips, and here is special. This is regarding cold weather concrete, and says special care must be taken when concrete is cast in winter. Special care must be taken when concrete is cast in winter. If water in young concrete is allowed to freeze, concrete damaged shall be damaged to such an extent that it's unfit for use. Even if temperature does not drop below zero, concrete shall not gain strength as quickly as it would during warmer months. Code which is called Bitron that time. That's BS 8110 required that temperature of concrete should not fall below 5 degrees Celsius at any point until strength has reached 5 MPa. Workmanship clauses which are now BS EN 13670 execution of concrete rather than in design code and follow including subgrade materials need be a few degrees above freezing, 2 degrees Celsius you can say. Reinforcing bars and other embedded metal must be free of ice and snow, but otherwise there is generally no restriction on their temperature prior to casting. American Code for cold weather conditions ACI 306R suggests that embedded steel greater than about 25 mm diameter should have a temperature of at least 12 degrees Celsius. American Code for cold weather suggests that steel greater than 25 mm diameter should have temperature of at least 12 degrees Celsius. Thus, certain precautions have to be taken when concreting in cold weather conditions. When planning to cast concrete, information on likely temperature can be obtained from house. All plants should be protected against frost, with the smaller items being kept under cover when not in use. BSEN 206-2013 plus A1 2016 clause 529 concrete temperature says ready mix concrete are delivered should not be below 5 degrees Celsius at time of delivery. Concrete should not be placed against any formwork or reinforcement covered in ice or snow. There should be no ice and snow on either formwork or on steel reinforcement. Once setting process starts, heat of hydration shall help to maintain temperature of concrete. Timber formwork usually offers sufficient insulation Timber formwork usually offers sufficient insulation. However, steel formwork is a I'm talking of steel material, because timber formwork usually offers sufficient insulation while steel formwork does not. Is a poor insulator, and this metal should be fixed. Some insulating metal should be fixed on that form of steel. Once cast exposed concrete surface should be covered with insulating material. It should be noted that particularly affects concretes with cements replacement materials, namely GGBS and fly ash. This is very small paper that I referred to. Just for sake of understanding, I'll take now another paper, and that is here. We'll take up this, I think, cold weather concreting, and I repeat this paper because what happens when concrete freezes. I'm just repeating it. It's important on what happens when concrete freezes. What happens? Weather conditions at job site. Weather conditions at job site. Hot or cold, windy or calm, dry or humid. These conditions are hot or cold, windy or calm, dry or humid. May be vastly different from optimum conditions assumed at time of concrete mix is specified, designed or selected, or from laboratory conditions in which concrete specimens are stored and tested. Concrete can be placed in cold weather conditions provided adequate precautions are taken to alleviate negative impacts of low ambient temperatures. Current American Code, Concrete Institute ACI, definition of cold weather condition as stated in ACI 306 is a period when for more than 3 successive days average daily air temperature drops below 40 degrees Fahrenheit and stays below 50 degrees Fahrenheit for more than one half of any of a 24-hour period. Well, this is definition. Problems with freezing of concrete at early age. All concrete must be protected from freezing until it has reached a minimum strength, as we said before, 5 Mbps, which typically happens within first 24 hours. And if concrete freezes while it's still fresh or before it has developed sufficient strength to resist expansive forces associated with freezing water, ice formation results in disruption of cement paste. Ice formation results in disruption of cement paste matrix, causing an irreparable loss in strength. Early freezing can result in a reduction of to 50% of ultimate strength. Once concrete has attained a compressive strength of around 500 psi, it's generally considered to have sufficient strength to resist significant expansion and damage. Damage if frozen. When air temperature at time of concrete placement is below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, freezing temperature within 24 hours after placement are expected to follow general issues. Protection while concrete is placed, consolidated and finished. It's very, very normal. You have to understand. Exposure is a protection while concrete is placed, consolidated and finished. Exposure of concrete to cold weather shall extend time required for it to reach initial set. It says, analyze it. Exposure of concrete to cold weather condition shall extend time required for it to reach initial set. It will require more time, which may require finishing crew to be available for longer period. Depending on actual ambient temperature, protection of concrete placement may require use of wind breaks. Means wind break, we have to break wind breaks, enclosures or supplementary. Depending on actual ambient temperature, protection of concrete placement may require use of wind breaks. Protection, they say that depending on actual ambient temperature, protection of concrete placement may require use of wind breaks, enclosures or supplementary heat. It may also be appropriate to adjust concrete mixture constituents for effect of ambient temperature. Means we have to adjust concrete mixture constituents. It may also be appropriate to adjust concrete mixture constituents for effect of ambient temperature on setting time. This may require an increase in cement content, use of an accelerating chemical admixture or both. What it says, it may require an increase in cement content or use of accelerating chemical admixture or both. Wind breaks protect concrete and construction personnel from biting winds that cause temperature drops and excessive evaporation. Typically, a height of 2 meters is sufficient. Less than 2 meters. Typically, a height of 1.8 meters is sufficient for wind break. Wind breaks could be taller or shorter